up, guys? It's your boy Mizzy, and I'm here today to do a movie review for the 1983 movie Cujo, based off the Stephen King novel. This movie right here is like, if have y'all ever had a movie that was just imprinted in your mind in your childhood, and it just even though, like I say, it was made way before I was born. I love older movies, so and I love Stephen King. I've read a lot of his books. I haven't read this novel, but I have heard some of what happened in the novel. But anyways, this movie, the basis of it was real simple. It was a dog that got rabies from a bat, Saint Bernard, and like I say, the dog got rabies, practically went crazy. And a couple things that I wrote down that I wanted to just touch on. The movie Cujo, in my mind, it's the fear in the back of your mind, because the movie begins with the dog nice, the little boy petting the dog, and it's real friendly. It just shows how quick something can go from good to evil, and just how quick life can change. It's just the same way as the mom in the movie. The mom and dad are dealing with infidelity in their relationship. The mom was cheating with an ex, and then, like I said, we see how that entails. But another thing, this movie was, when I watched it once I got older, I seen it a little different than when I was younger. I didn't realize the action didn't really start to a little into the movie. This was a little bit of a slow burn, they kind of built up the story a little bit. I think that's because they were trying to ease you into the movie. But like I said, man, once it got going, though. The atmosphere from the beginning is bright, sunny, showing the family. Like I say, we do see Bad, because we see the mechanic, how he is with his family. His family leaves. But then, like I said, once the story starts, so the mom, like I said, they're dealing with infidelity, her and her husband. So her and her son, they leave and go to the mechanic. Once they go to the mechanic, then we see Cujo once they finna get out the car. And another thing that I just want to speak on briefly, why did it seem like Cujo got bigger and bigger in this movie? It's like every time you seen it, I was wondering, was they doing it on purpose? Because it almost was like, this really was like a monster movie, even though it was a dog. And it hit me even more because I got bit when I was younger by a dog. So I've had my, just, at one point I was just terrified of dogs. Of course not no little dogs, but pit bulls, or, a dog like some size like that you would be like worried about getting bit. But like I said, it just shows how a movie can really influence the way you see stuff and follow you throughout your childhood. But anyways, one thing I want to touch on, the cinematography in this. Man, the scenes when Cujo was drooling and looking menacing, man, that was some great shots. That's the reason I always tell people, I'm like, I know nowadays we have, man, the camera lenses and everything. Man, you have way higher grade technology now. Is just way more advanced than it was in 1983. But it just shows when you have a director who has a vision, you can still get your vision on picture, even if you don't have the technology that we have right now in 2025. But like I said, when they show him off in the distance and he's drooling, it's like shadow in the backdrop. It's dark, eerie. It just has a feeling of dismay. You're wondering, like, dang, is this family gonna be able to escape? Like when he jumps on the top of the car, on the hood of the car, and like then especially that scene once he's standing outside the car and he's like both feet on the car, he looks like he's like, just, you're like, dang, how is this family going to escape this? Because they're literally in the middle of nowhere. Again, and another thing, Stephen King, he loves his small towns. Even though this wasn't a town, he loves, to me, I even all his films, not films, but novels that turned into films. But all The Shining, all them, Stephen King loves, to me, a claustrophobic, Salem's Lot as well, a claustrophobic, tight-knit. It's like, it's just more eerie when it's like a small town Everybody knows everybody. And like I said, it in my mind, he always does that. It's like real purposeful that he always loves to have it in a small town. But like I said the cinematography was great. And then like I said, but the one thing that was I thought of as well when I rewatched this, with them being stuck in a car, like the heat was beaming on them. So you ain't even just had, then the sun, I don't remember if he had asthma or what it was, but of course they was dealing with dehydration. They was dealing with a lot. Like I said, they're trying to get out of the car. Then, cause then they hear the phone ringing in the house. And every time the phone rings, the dog's going nuts. He's going crazy. And then, like I said, I really need to go back and read this book though, even though I know how it ends. But I really want to. I'm gonna go back and read this sometime. But anyways, in the one of the, like, cause like I said, I don't want to ramble too long. But when it gets to the end of the movie, and the say like when the mom gets out of the car, the son, she's trying to, of course, save her son, but she has the bat in her hand, swinging it at Cujo. The bat breaks. Cujo jumps on her, so the bat pierces Cujo. So she, gets the dog off her, runs in the house. Well, no, she gets busts the window out and takes her child out the car. When she goes inside, she's trying to resuscitate him. And when she does, soon as she does, Cujo busts through the window. This is another great shot. The way the glass breaks, he bursts through. It's just like, it's like Jason or Michael Myers or something. We don't see this as a dog usually, but when you the bad guy, you try to kill him, and it's like he just keeps coming back. So Cujo, he busts through the window, and then like luckily the gun was right there. She grabs the gun, shoots him, and then like I say, then Cujo is dead. But then like I say, the husband, he just arrives, and I thought the husband was gonna get there sooner and be the one to save him, but the husband arrives afterwards, and when he arrives, then, like I said, she comes out with the child, sweaty, bloody, and he just looking, even though going through the infidelity and stuff, he's happy to see his wife and child okay. And like I said, it's a happy ending. I know, but what I was going to speak about, and spoiler alert if you haven't read the book, but in the book, the son actually passes. King has the son passes. And I seen that people said that Stephen King said he regretted the son passing. I think it was, like I said in the film, he lived. With me, it was fine either way. Of course, when a kid passes, you just naturally have more empathy for him. So, like I said, it definitely would have been more sentimental. You would have been, but because, like I said, you all of a sudden you were happy at the end of this. But like I said, I understand, like I said, King, a lot of his endings are very interesting and very, controversial. But anyways, guys, like I said, just wanted to speak on this film a little bit. And then, like I said, man, everybody, if you haven't seen it in years, go back, check out Cujo. But anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you next time.